Chapter 31. I reached down deep into the pocket of my skirt, looking for my fancy silver happy birthday pen, but found only the broken, useless bar of paper-wrapped soap. I remembered that Will Jr. still had it. Will was searching the bedroom at the back of the house, and I could hear Carlene in there with him, shouting at him to stop pulling all of the blankets off her bed. Through a slim window set into the front door, I watched as two police officers stepped out of their patrol car and dashed through the rain toward the trailer. I quickly locked the deadbolt in the door and pulled a heavy chair in front of it to buy us more time, hoping that there might be another way out. Then I dashed down the narrow hallway toward the bedroom, passing the others on the way. Lester and Lil were in the kitchen, looking again in all the cupboards. Bobby was searching inside the washer and dryer. Fish was sitting on the floor in the bathroom with his head in his hands and his eyes squeezed tightly shut. He was struggling to keep that storm outside under control. "It'll be all right, Fish. I know what to do," I shouted to my brother, trying to reassure him as I ran past. Fish got up and followed me into Carlene's bedroom with Bobby right behind him. "Will, I need my pen!" I cried. Will stopped a violent game of bedsheet tug-of-war with Carlene and let go of his end so abruptly that the bony woman fell backward and landed on her now empty laundry basket, her arms and legs flailing and kicking, one fuzzy slipper falling off and the other sailing through the air to hit the ceiling just over Bobby's head. Bobby ducked to keep from getting hit. We were almost out of time. I could hear the police officers pounding on the front door. "Will, my pen!" I thrust my hand out like a surgeon, asking for a scalpel. Will dug deep into his own pocket and slapped the shiny pen into my hand, knowing exactly what I had in mind. We all shimmied around and over the bed, converging on the woman in the basket and trying to hold her down. Carlene started up such a noisy, hissing, spitting yowl, it was like trying to catch hold of a feral cat. The police pounded again on the door, and I knew my time was up. Carlene screamed, "Help! Help me!" So Fish blasted her with another whip of wind, making her flinch and turn her head aside. But it didn't stop her caterwaul. "Help me! I'm being attacked!" To shut the woman up, Bobby pulled her roll of bubble tape from the pocket of her jeans, yanking a full arm's length of gum from the package and tearing it off. Quickly wadding the long ribbon into a tight tangle in her hand, Bobby leaned forward and jammed the big gob of gum inside Carlene's open, roaring mouth, muffling the woman's shouts, at least momentarily. Uncapping the pen, I grabbed for one of Carlene's kicking feet. It was the only part of her I could get close to. "Let me go!" the woman garbled around her enormous mouthful of sticky, juicy bubble tape, trying to spit it out, but finding it difficult to dislodge the gum from her teeth. Kicking at me again, Carlene pulled her foot out of my grasp, her big hair flying up around her head like a mane, as though the angry cat was turning into a lion. "Try to keep her still," I shouted. "I only need a second." I can't see that. Okay. As Fish and Bobby struggled to pin Carlene's arms, Will grabbed hold of both of her feet. Carlene landed a rock-solid kick to Will's chest, knocking him backward against the bed, but he got up quickly and took hold of her feet with a tighter grip. It took less than a second. A dot, and a line. Just long enough to draw a simple face on the bottom of Carlene's cracked and calloused left foot. "Where's my brother?" I demanded, trying to shut out everything except Carlene's voice inside my head, but finding it difficult to ignore the increasingly loud pounding at the front door and the sound of the rain now pummeling the metal siding of the trailer. "Where is he?" I repeated, shouting to Carlene, then pausing to listen for the single voice of her thoughts. "He climbed in himself, the mangy, snooping little dog," the Carlene's voice in my head replied as the two dots blinked above the scowling line of mouth. "I just latched the panel so he couldn't get back out." "What panel? Where is he?" I demanded. And for a moment, Carlene stopped struggling, looking at me in surprise. "Where did Samson climb into himself?" I asked again. Carlene finally managed to spit the thick, sticky mess of bubblegum from her mouth, sputtering it out so that it landed on the carpet near Fish like a piece of chewed-up meat. But she didn't start screaming again. Carlene didn't say a word. Instead, she looked at me shrewdly, curiously. How did the girl know about the panel? The inked face I'd drawn on Carlene's foot wondered in my head. Her eyes narrowed as she considered me carefully. The woman gave me the chills. It was almost as though she could read my mind. And for a second I got scared. What if someone bad like Carlene ever found out about us Beaumonts and the things our savvies let us do? Hope I never have to find out. But before I could think any more about this new worry, I was distracted by a brand new voice inside my head, muffled and distant, like a hidden chime that seldom ever rings. The voice reminded me of Samson! I'm in the wall, the voice said. Then it's doubled. I'm in the wall. I'm in the wall. As I listened, the seconds ticking by, as I ignored Carlene and everyone else, I heard Samson's voice multiplying again and again and again, until it overlapped upon itself so many times that the words grew together into a gabble of chiming gibberish. I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing all that. You guys can see it. It says I'm in the wall like 27,000 times. I held up my hand as though trying to silence some of the voices, knowing that the others, including Carlene, were all watching me with keen interest. It's Samson, I said. I can hear him. He says he's in the wall. What does that mean? Everyone looked from me to Carlene, shocked and bewildered. Fish roared at Carlene, sending her bushy mane of blonde hair flying straight back and making her squint against his squall. Tell us where he is! I didn't wait to see if Carlene answered. Dropping my pen and Carlene's ugly foot, I jumped up and shot out of the bedroom, following the volume of Samson's voice like a children's game of hot and cold, until I was standing again in front of the table that Samson had tried to climb under earlier. That was where his voice was loudest, but I checked there already. I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall, I'm in the wall, like 27,000 times again. I looked at the paneled wall of the bar directly behind the table, and noticed now that the panels were uneven, overlapping one another like the sliding doors of a small closet. I hadn't realized that those panels could open. The others had followed me into the living room, and watched now as I knelt on the floor by the paneled bar, banging on the boards and shouting to Samson as I tried to figure out how to slide them open. It only took me a second to find the latch and slide the first panel aside. He's here! I cried out. He's in here! There Samson sat, curled up, knees to chest in the middle of an assortment of junk and debris. Old files and dusty shoeboxes were stacked around him inside the hidden storage space, along with bags of old clothes and a couple of broken-handled pots and pans. Samson blinked at us from his hidey hole, lockup, as though nothing out of the ordinary had happened. He was clutching a black plastic ballpoint pen that he must have found inside the storage area. He was using it to draw all over himself. Squiggles and doodles wiggled and jiggled up and down his arms. Happy faces and stars and rocket ships, bugs, robots, all decorated his skin, shifting and moving and prattling, tattling in that jumbled, jangled chorus inside my head. I pulled Samson from out of the wall and hugged him to me tightly, trying to listen to his thoughts. Aloud for once, into my brother's inner world. I wished he hadn't drawn on himself quite so much. I couldn't make sense of all the noise. But I was so glad to see him, I could think of little else. Samson's mishmash medley inside my head was like beautiful music. As soon as we found Samson, everyone converged on us at once. Lester and Lil appeared around the corner from the kitchen, looking relieved. Carlene came out of the bathroom, hoisting a broom that she pointed our way, as though she planned on sweeping us all out of her home, or maybe on jumping aboard and flying off into the storm. And, on top of the rest, the police chose that moment to kick down the door.